Good morning, Treadmill Talk. What is up, everyone? Get this thing going here, get Amanda on, and get our talk started. Let me just fix this thing real quick. There we go. Perfect. All right. This treadmill ramped up. How is everyone doing this morning? Saturday, May 2nd, 8 a.m. Here it is. Amanda. Let me get her.
Hello?
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I am doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm just trying to figure out this thing. I'm not super techie, as you know.
You got it. I hear you loud and clear, and I can see you. You got it.
Good. Now I'm just trying to get this to mount. So give me a second.
Are you sitting somewhere?
Yeah, I'm sitting in a parking lot because where I live, we get terrible signal everywhere. And there we go. Boom. I think I got it.
There you go. You got it.
Are you wearing a weight vest?
I am wearing a weight vest.
That's pretty awesome. What company is that?
It's called Higher. Herid. And it's 75 pounds.
Jesus. Wow, that's awesome. I'm looking into something kind of like that, but I don't know. I'm going to do 75 pounds.
And so it's cool because each weight is 2 pounds, and so you can increase or decrease.
That's awesome.
And when I'm out training dogs, I wear this because obviously with quarantine, snacks, everything, it's just like, you know what, I got to do everything I can to stay on top of it. So
yeah,
I've had people ask me like, why are you wearing magazines in your pictures? I'm like, no, it's not magazines for AR. It's a weighted vest.
yeah.
So, but every little bit helps. What did Jesse say? Oh,
Exactly. Probably not.
You
It's not quite that far. It's not quite that far, but yeah, you got to drive like 30 minutes to get anywhere with reception and stuff. So.
Wow. Well,
for the people.
I am truly honored to have you on for round number 2. I know a lot of people, especially Micah, have been looking forward to this interview. So thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, no problem. Pleasure.
Favorite color?
Purple.
Favorite pizza topping?
Pizza topping?
Yep.
Banana peppers.
Ooh, good pull. Favorite movie?
Man.
It's a hard one.
Yeah, it really is. I'll just go with the one that made me the most emotional recently, or not recent. It's not recent, but I was a wreck watching it. Fruitvale Station.
What is it?
Fruitvale Station.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
It's an amazing. It's about like African Americans and in this time, and it was really harsh stuff, but really good movie.
Nice.
Had a good meaning, yeah.
And you said Fruitvale Station?
Yeah, Fruitvale Station.
Wow.
I couldn't tell you the names of the actors or whatever. It's got the guy from Black Panther, the guy who had all the little. I'm so bad with the names of actors.
Me too. That guy that played in that movie, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I got it.
Right? I don't know.
All right, introduce yourself.
I'm Amanda Caldron. I'm with Patriot K9. We are based out of Tennessee, hopefully headed back to Georgia sometime soon. Service nationwide, do a little bit of everything competitively, and just try to have fun with dogs, really. So, me.
So my number one question I have to ask is, how do you stay so humble at what you do? Because number one, you're amazing at what you do. I'm a huge fan of you, and just it's always positivity. It's always just looking at, like, being optimistic. So how do you stay so humble?
Well, first I'll tell you, I wasn't always. I've been in this a really long time, and I started really young, and I was kind of put down and discouraged a whole lot. And if anybody knows anything about me, I'm pretty bullheaded. You tell me I can't, I'm gonna do everything in my power to prove you wrong. Which is kind of where it headed, honestly. I started doing French ring, and then kind of got into some other sports as well. And it just seemed like everywhere I went, I was met with an objection or an obstacle. It wasn't really a lot of support. And people just kind of said, oh, well, that's just the dog game. That's just the way it is. And I was like, no, that's bullshit. That can't be the case. Like, I'm going to show y'all there could be people who are supportive, and people who support off-breed dogs. And somewhere along the line, I got baited into things. Oh, what do you think of so and so's work, and what do you think of this and that? And now I remain, well, maybe that's not the right approach for me. I wouldn't have taken that approach, but if it works for them, it works for them. But at one point or another, I definitely, was a little. I felt myself a little bit. I think we all go through it at some point, and I was real enough to eventually say, Amanda, this isn't you. Like, don't let people bring you out of character. And I just try and remind myself really why I got involved, and I try and surround myself with people who don't talk about people. If anybody has heard me talk, if somebody's got anything bad to say, I don't want to hear it. Go tell them. Maybe y'all can resolve that, but I don't want to be a part of that. I'd rather be around people who just want to see other people do well and are honest about their own abilities and lack thereof. I myself am trying to constantly surround myself with people who are either brand spanking new and really passionate about learning, and that alone it fuels me. It makes me just remember, that grind, and just how fun it is, and that excitement that you get. And then, of course, I want to surround myself with people who are better than myself. So I always have kind of this balancing outlook of people who essentially put me on a pedestal, and I tell them, hey, don't do that. And then I have people who are like, Amanda, you could do this, you could do that, you could do that. And I respect both equally. So I think that's important for everybody.
Man, that's so deep. That's so deep.
Thanks.
So I know you mentor a lot of people. A lot of people come to you for information, guidance, structure. Nino talked about it. I would say talent management. You help people manage their talent. Who would you say have been your biggest influences in your life?
So I have yet to actually meet her, but have followed her religiously since I got into dogs. Her name is Larry Hansen. She's a pit bull chick out in Cali. She does pet dogs, and she's done French ring. She's a phenomenal woman, extremely humble. I love Larry. And then I would say, Jonathan Katz. Jonathan Katz was a huge part of my development. We competed in the same sport together of PFA. He also knew some French ring guys, and I actually started talking to him before I even got involved in PFA. And I really respected him as a decoy, as a handler. He's titled multiple dogs to to PFA 3, including a female. and I also respect him very much as a breeder. So I like to look at that, his approach of coaching, as well as his approach to, just dogs in total. I think he's a very humble guy as well, and always looking to learn and do something fun and exciting with his dogs. So I definitely say he's played a major role in my influences.
Jonathan's awesome. I love reaching out to him and talking to him. He's one of those guys that I feel like no matter what's going, like there could be a volcano going off, and he's like, "Just chill, bro. We got this, man."
Yeah, that's him.
He's a cool dude.
Yeah.
What do you say is your biggest obstacle you've had to overcome while coming up in the dog game?
Definitely ego, whether that's yourself or others that you're attempting to combat and overcome. The community's perception of what we do and attempting to fight that. My own mother, I had to just butt heads with because she didn't understand, teaching a dog to bite. She just thought that was really crazy and wrong. And then location. I know a lot of people, everybody grinds from their house for the most part in order to get good exposure and to go places. I mean, you gotta put yourself into the community's, eyes and front arms, and it sometimes feels like you're absolutely being attacked by just the community. Again, things that they know nothing about. So I used to be very defensive about those things, like, you don't know what to talk about, blah, blah, blah. You sound stupid. And I'm like, okay, that's obviously not the right approach. I'm not going to get anywhere. And so now I take, the approach of, I understand it could probably look bad. Let me share, let me spend some time with you. And that has been a whole lot better. A lot of people have been very receptive to that approach. So I'm learning along the way, and I just try and help others figure that out along the way as well. So
Again, I'm a huge fan.
I feel really lazy right now because I'm sitting and you're on a treadmill.
Again, I'm a huge fan of you. So, and I know you're extremely humble. We talked about that already. But when did you know that you made it? Like, what was that moment like? Like, damn. Like, you sit back and you're like, damn.
I don't feel like I'm ever in the clear, and I feel like I've always been my own worst enemy, so to speak. Like I will always try and strive for the better and best me possible. So that means I'm often not satisfied with my own products, my own achievements. So I'm constantly trying to reach for the next thing. I would also say, at one point when I was first getting involved and I was doing the dog training thing on my own, that would be one pinnacle, one little tier that I felt like, okay, like I can be comfortable now. Not that the grind had to stop, but I didn't feel like I had to prove myself as much, and I didn't feel like I had to sell myself short. A lot of times in the beginning, and I talk about this with a lot of people, people decreasing their rates or feeling so desperate that they got to take that dog that is, just not worth the risk, or the owners aren't going to keep it up. Like, not all good, not all money is going to be good money. But I felt like once I hit that point where like I no longer had to like beg to get in clients or reduce my rates or whatever, like that was a huge point of being able to have some peace for myself, because as you probably know, like that's a hard spot for anybody, any entrepreneur coming in is, really keeping themselves at a certain standard and maintaining that.
Hell yeah. But my favorite thing is, you need a huge discount? You want me to cut my price in half? All right, go to PetSmart. I'll see you whenever you're done.
Yep. our family getting mad at you because, you won't give them a discount, or you won't do it for free, or, people, celebrities or whoever trying to, barter services or whatever and do it for free. And I'm like, at the end of the day, like, you probably have it more than anybody. Like, I'm not, not going to do that. So I do make, we always look at certain situations very circumstantially. I'd love to help, if I feel like somebody's absolutely dedicated and their circumstances are really, really tough, we'll do everything that we can to help them. But like I said, I don't feel guilty as much as I used to about, being too expensive for somebody, or, them saying I'm not going to work with you because you're not accessible enough. That's okay. We'll all live. There's plenty of other trainers, and everybody can eat. So.
That's right.
What's up, Mister?
What's up, Des? Talk about your biggest accomplishment as a person, and then your biggest accomplishment from a business standpoint.
As a business standpoint, I feel really good knowing that we have a really successful team that works real well together. That we don't take caution or don't feel threatened by competition. I think we all enjoy surrounding ourselves with other trainers. We like, that transparent feedback from others that are either, just as dedicated and just as accomplished as us, or even less than. I also feel really good knowing that we do a really, really good job placing dogs with families for like family protection, as well as law enforcement and military. We don't do a ton of dogs, but we absolutely put out really good quality. And I think that's huge, because I believe that in our team, every single one of us have a major goal of really helping people. And in these circumstances, people really do need dogs that, are going to make a big difference in their overall security and safety. And so that brings us a joy. So I'd say that's a big business accomplishment, because finding a team in and of itself is very, very tough. And the fact that we all have the same vision and the same outlook is really special to me. And then I guess in terms of personal accomplishments, definitely Top Dog was different, was fun. That one was something I was really proud of, mainly just because I didn't really expect much going into it with Minion, except to have fun. And the little guy did great despite, the circumstances, and I was very pleased with him. So that's one. And then PSA 3 is just competing at that level, let alone achieving anything at that level, is just an eye-opening experience as a trainer, handler, sports enthusiast, a breeder. It really gives you really deep insight into, what kind of characteristics are valuable for a dog at that level. And so I would definitely say those two things are probably my biggest, quote unquote achievements. But I personally think my greatest personal achievement is helping others. I hope to help a lot more people become greater than I ever was. And there's definitely some people who I've originally started to mentor who are really doing, very well and doing big things. And it inspires me to see their growth, and I hope that they just continue to shoot up. So
nice. When you get in a suit, you do phenomenal work. What was what was that aha moment for you? Like whenever you realized you liked getting in the suit, doing that side of that work?
Oh man, I remember. Um, I got. I'm a very. I wouldn't say like aggressive, but most people that know me are like, man, she's huge personality and a little body. I can be very physical. I've always been physical. And so when I got into the suit, I was real young. My first bite was on a flea by a big Rottweiler, and the adrenaline in and of itself just took over me. I loved it, and I was like, okay, I'm hooked. But it wasn't until like two aspects of it. One was when I was like, oh man, I'm actually teaching this dog something. Like I really was pulling stuff out of dogs that, was otherwise told was not there. And so I was like, hell yeah, I'm a badass. Like I got this. And I just had a lot of fun with it. And I was like, well, if I do this, what happens? And it became kind of like a scientific thing for me. I just wanted to play with different things. And that like was my new obsession. I just loved that. So I was taking on like every possible challenging dog that I could. And that helped me tremendously. And then the other aspect of it was back to that aggression side of me. I remember one time, this old dog was a French ring dog named Nico. He bit me in my leg so freaking hard. And I had jeans on, and it was a big, big suit. So, like, he had to fold this thing because there was so much material in order to puncture me, and he still punctured me. And I remember I saw, like, black for a quick second. And then, like, he was like, all right, now fight the dog. And I was able, like, I turned all that pain into, like, rage. And that was, like, my newfound outlet. Like, that's why I love your, like, whole Hulk, like, like, it just, it's a lot of fun to have that constructive outlet, kind of like anything else, physical contact, like martial arts or something. There's a lot of contact in it, but it's all for the benefit of both of them building. So I kind of like that, as Cody says, that love and violence, aspect. So
yeah. What does it mean to see so many, not so many, but see more women getting in suits and actually working dogs, teaching dogs versus just getting in the suit for pictures and, likes. So,
I'm so glad you mentioned that. Like, I've always been a one. I didn't, when I was first getting involved, Adriana Harwood, aka Adrian Ray, on the socials. We were getting involved right about the same time frame. We were both involved in French ring, and I honestly didn't really know the route I was going. I didn't really have direction or anything. But at first, I was like, I don't really want to be a decoy. I just want to be a handler and whatever. And then I started decoying on my own because I didn't really have help. And then I began to like it. And as I got more involved, I was like, I'm going to become the first French Ring 3 certified female, blah, 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 decoy-wise. And I was like, as I got more involved and saw the type of technique and work, and I'm like, and the amount of you have to be in really good shape, I was like, yeah, I don't know if that's for me. But then you got somebody like Adrian, who, I mean, she was smaller than me at the time, I think. But now she's just like beastly, and she just picks up these dogs. And I mean, she's got a powerful drive and great technique and good catches, very safe. And I really, really admire that. And so I use different people as an example. I've learned I'm better off as a training decoy. I like, 10 foot send maybe. I'm good on that. I like the up close and personal of building the drives and channeling those transitions and all that fun jazz. I respect the hell out of trial decoys. And seeing more of these women get into it, I'm constantly trying to pick their brain and ask them, like, what is your goal? What is your direction? Do you have a short or long term insight? Um, because as I talk to more of them, or I see most of them come in, like you had mentioned, I'm seeing most of them come and then go. And they're really only like putting it on for a quick bite. And I get wanting to just experience it. I think that's beneficial for anybody, just so they have a respect for the animal and what it is that decoys do. But when people go out and they buy all the equipment and they pose with it, I feel like that's really disrespectful to the craft. I don't care if that's male or female, but especially with the females, because I feel like we already have so many people kind of notching things against us, like, we can never take them serious. Um, so I really, really admire those that stick with it, and just pump it out. Sarah Bruesque is phenomenal. She's not a trial decoy, but she does phenomenal work. Stephanie O'Brien does great work. Again, not a trial decoy. Obviously, Adrienne Ray, she's phenomenal. She's been certified decoy. She's very, very skilled. And then I've seen some up and comers. Allie Rains, she stayed very, very dedicated, and I liked watching her grow, and I like seeing her remain impressionable to others. I definitely try and support those that are out there doing it. Although I try and, I do try and offer them, like I said, some insight or some guidance, because I'll to speak it firsthand. I got a little egotistical. I got a little ahead of myself. I got, in places where I was lacking direction and just trying all sorts of stuff, and there was really no real focus or benefit to the dog or myself or others. So I just try and offer that perspective, when inquired. Usually, I sometimes step out of line and give it when it's not asked for, but it's all in with good intent.
Right. From a personal perspective, which do you prefer to work the dog in, prey or defense?
It depends on the dog's dominant drive. I always try and, if the dog's dominant drive is defense, I'll usually touch into defense and then transition into prey, to help balance out the prey. If the dog is, primary prey, I flip into prey first and then try and channel into a little bit of defense and then level those drives out.
Nice. What would be your 3 and 5 and 10-year goal from a business standpoint?
3, buy tons of property, or tons of land in Georgia. 5, have an assortment of avenues of income, and not necessarily doing much obedience anymore. I want to play with dogs. I love building protection dogs. That's probably where I get the majority of my fun. But I also want to get more involved in like the choreographed dance stuff with the dogs. I want to get involved in agility, more weight pull, more hunting. There's so many things that you can do with dogs, and I've always had interest in many of those things, which is what sport originally started out for me. Was I just wanted to learn the different things, and then I got consumed by it, and I haven't really been able to venture out and do some of the other things that I'd really like. So that's what I'd really like to do, have kind of a self-sustaining business, and then I'm able to play more. And then 10, I want to have my horses, and then I plan on, I want to have 2 horses, just 2, super easy, okay. Non-challenging, unlike the dogs. And then something that I've really wanted to do, not really business, could make it business maybe, I don't know, I haven't really thought that far. I want to be able to like go horseback riding with my dog and like do some falconry, like all on horseback and hunts and stuff. Like it's how I envision my paradise.
You just named like your next movie that you're gonna be in.
I guess. I don't know.
It's
Exactly. Woo! Yeah, go get him. I've seen some stuff on Facebook. I can't remember the page, but there was a page where this guy has, it's like a ferret, and then he's got like a little terrier, and I'm pretty sure he's got like a Malinois, and then he's got like a falcon. But like they all hunt together, and like I would love to just go hang with that person. That would be amazing.
hell yeah. Like, Malinois, you stand back. The Falcons got this.
Exactly. Yep.
That's crazy.
Stay down. I don't know how I can really manage all that, but I'll figure it out.
So, if I said, hey, you're going to be trapped on an island for a year with 100 dogs, you have 2 people you can bring. Who you bringing?
Oh, boy. Well, one would definitely be Jesse. I've learned that you can't, you can spend a lot of time with people and learn a lot about them and how you mesh. I'm sure a lot of people have figured that out with the quarantine. Some point or another you're going to butt heads. There's been an increase in divorce rates and domestic violence and all sorts of things. Despite how much time we spend together, it's always still a good time. So I'd stick with him. Plus, he's versatile. And then, if I'm just doing like Sandra Rawlinson. I don't know if you know her. She does bulldogs and she does herders and she does German short hair pointers, the whole 9. But she seems super cool. I'm pretty sure we could figure out our distance situation, but she could teach us and teach the dogs how to hunt and provide. And I think amongst the 3 of us, I think we could really more than survive. We would thrive, I think.
Nice.
Yeah. Nature.
When you're looking for a green dog prospect to put as protection, what are 2 things you're looking for in that dog?
Nowadays it's been a little different. Big one now is sociability. A dog that's easy to transfer. I've learned that the type of dog I like isn't always exactly what others want or need. So sociability is huge. A dog that is less likely to develop handler aggression or handler reactivity. I definitely think a sensitive dog is not the best dog. I want a very resilient dog that can, possibly take a harsher correction, but still has the eager to please disposition. And then a dog that transitions between drives. So there's been a huge, there's been great quality and great advances in protection training, and a lot of people, emphasize the protection training. But when it comes to patrol dogs, that is a very, very small percentage of what they actually do. So it is equally, or if not more important, for the dog to have phenomenal hunt and to be able to transition between those drives. A dog that gets stuck in wanting to find bad guys only and bite people is a very, very difficult dog to manage on the street.
What do you think all good dogs are only imported from other countries?
Definitely not. I've seen a lot of washouts from imports, and actually when I was first getting involved in dogs and I was looking for Dutchies, I was having a really, really hard time. And I was also 17, so I get that. But I did talk to a guy that I was originally going to import a dog from, and I just got really unsettling vibes from it. Like I was going to get duped over, and I'm really glad that I didn't, because over time, I've experienced so much with people and their own personal stories about how, the dog didn't match up, DNA, pedigree, whatever, doesn't even look the same as what original videos, you name it.
Fake x-rays.
Yeah, like I've just heard some really shysty things happening. Now, granted, like that, there's always exceptions, but all in all, like we don't import. I believe that there's a lot of great quality and a lot of good networks right here in the U.S. And I think a lot of people have, been trying to open that up more since the whole quarantine and stuff, and travel restrictions. And I think that there's good quality, but what I would say is it's hard to find in quantity. With everybody getting into breeding, I think there's a lot of new people too, Malinois, Dutchies, whatever. And they go, oh my God, this is the best thing since sliced bread. And it is. It's a great dog in comparison to anything that they've seen, but what are their standards, upheld to? And so when they're breeding that dog that in their mind is mind-blowing, it may subjectively be like counterproductive because it may only be mediocre when held to the standards of, the whole breed. So I think if more people were breeding really, really quality dogs, I think we could have that here and man our own demand without really having to network outside the U.S. It's just having to be very transparent with yourself and not being kennel blind.
You guys, I think it was last year, you guys rescued a dog. Not rescued, but I think pulled it from a shelter.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw it biting Jesse on a four-wheeler. I think it went to a department.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that dog.
So we work with a variety of rescues, and that dog was actually from Atlanta Humane Society. I think at the time when they contacted us that she was like 4 or 5 months old, and they said, we really need to do something with this dog. She needs a job. She's been returned twice for trying to bite people. And I said, okay. And a lot of times we'll have them do kind of preliminary stuff because we don't really, we don't want to waste our time because a lot of people think high drive and then we get there and like the dog doesn't chase the ball. And so they were like, yeah, she chases the ball. She puts anything in her mouth. Okay, cool. We'll go check her out. And we checked her out and I had her hunting for, PVC, metal, everything within 30 seconds. And when they first pulled her out, she's like, ah! And I just grabbed the leash and she was like, oh, like, you act different. But absolutely, she would have been a danger in the wrong hands. She was a great pleasure to work with. I'm so glad and fortunate it worked out because she was an early spay. And a lot of times with those, like, we worry about them, not cutting the medical exams and stuff, especially the x-rays. Luckily she did, and she went on, to be sold and now is doing excellent. But yeah, she was a phenomenal hunter, phenomenal, in the bite work portion, and nothing really rattled her, and that's why you saw the crazy stunt bite video inspired by Cody.
So I mean, there's diamonds in the roughs everywhere.
What's that? I'm sorry.
So she's a diamond in the rough, and they're pretty much everywhere. You just got to know what you're looking for.
I wouldn't, yeah, I was going to say it definitely is one of those more rare situations, but it's not as rare as what people may think. I think the toughest part is getting everything to line up with the medical. But in terms of temperament-wise and drive-wise, I'm usually able to go to any shelter and pull out at least one that I think will do work. Whether or not it'll pass medical or whether or not it's the right breed and all that other jazz is a whole other ballgame. But there's definitely working dogs out there in shelters, and oftentimes when we're looking to procure a dog for somebody looking for something specific, we'll tell them, like, if you don't mind not having like a health guarantee and all that, we'll probably go right to a shelter. That's going to be your most affordable option, and then you usually can wean out like the troubling stages of puppyhood and get a chance to see the dog firsthand and what they're likely to be. So I tend to promote that. A lot of people are like, you can't find a working dog in rescue, and Jesse and I will tell you, like, that's definitely not the case. So, and Mariah's got a working rescue dog too. We've all had working rescue dogs. So,
well, I mean, Carol from Throwaway Dog Project, they do it all the time, and they place some really nice dogs. So,
I commend those people that do that. And I'm glad that there's now more and more organizations opening up to that. If only we can get like departments and the community to be more accepting of like bull breeds and stuff. I think that would be tremendous. Talk about a big resolution and for the amounts and masses of bull breeds in shelters. I think that would be a good start.
We're transitioning over to your time on the show with America's Top Dog and stuff. Actually, let me back up. What comes first, protection or obedience?
For me, protection. If it's going to be a protection dog, and I know it's going to be a protection dog, I won't even say protection. That's not true. I always believe in building drive, first and foremost. It's a lot easier to teach and to mold if there's desire there. So even with obedient dogs, I want to make sure that they have some desire, some motivation. So, yeah. But if it's protection realm, then I'll do protection, and then I'll add in control or obedience, layer on those expectations. But I shape everything in the sense of the game.
Without, because this is usually where it comes from, but without sounding egotistical or a Betty know-it-all, if you had to talk to young handlers about what you see them missing the most, I mean, I'll say it flat out. When Jesse came and hung out with us, he told me.
Well, I'm tired looking at you. Like, I don't know how you do it.
It's hot.
Props to you, man.
Thank you. Biggest thing I was missing was engagement with my dog. So where I'm going with this question is, without sounding like that person, here's your platform to tell everybody, hey, when I watch you work your dog, I see this missing. What would you say is the common denominator of what people are missing? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Unrealistic expectations is your number one. I think everybody wants, instant gratification. They want it quick. And they're so focused on a deadline and the end-all picture that they're not really enjoying and embracing the journey. I don't think that they're making the most of that present moment. And engagement is definitely another big part that people are lacking. And mixed communication, whether that be verbal or the use of their tools or the frequency or the behaviors that they are rewarding or their body language, you name it. There's just a lot of mixed communication, and so the dog is very confused. And when there's confusion and a lack of engagement and desire, you create avoidance. So then it becomes this ever-going conflict of relationship, not because anybody doesn't intend to do well, but because they're just not on the same wavelength. So every time you pull out your dog, you make that conflict worse and worse and worse unintentionally. And then eventually it gets to that point of now they're showcasing really inappropriate behaviors.
Nice. What does it mean to be selected as a judge for like APPDA or local events? What does that mean to you?
I look at that as it's actually just another area for me to gain more experience and insight. I feel honored and privileged that people trust me enough to gather my insight, I guess, and subject themselves to my criticism. I think that's a very humbling experience in and of itself for people to come to you, but especially on a platform of being a judge, I think that's like I said, it's just very humbling because it does put you on a different pedestal. You know, when I went out and did my PDC with Minion, I was just telling myself, like, man, as a judge, like, I would beat the crap out of myself for my obedience. You know, we just kind of got by. I was like, but I like it because it kind of holds me accountable, and reminds me of, you know, how I got to stay on my stuff also. So,
Change one thing about the dog world.
support. I think you need a little bit of banter. I think you need competition. I love the variety. I love that everybody has their own kind of individuality. I feel like you need that. But there could be, even with all of that still being there, you can still have support. And I just believe right now the way that people perceive competition is threat. And I think that's a really weak and fragile mentality to have. But I think if you have the sense of competition of, for example, you know, myself, all I can really give is my, you know, personal experiences. If I brought out my dog and I'm trying to get a down in motion, you know, super fast or whatever, and I'm trying to get X amount of reps in or whatever it may be, I'm trying to beat myself from the previous day. And that's what I feel like it should be. Or if you're going to be, you know, bantering with others, Jason Davis is a great one for it. You know, Chad Hunter, all of them guys, like, they crack me up because it's all in good fun. You know, like, what was that drive? You know, that was like a bitch, you know. I think that's playful hazing, and that's only to get the most out of people. But when people are quick to attack, and not really lead by demonstration, I think that's a really weak approach. I think that only really fragile-minded people do that, and can feel good about themselves doing that. So overall, I think that support has gotten better, though, in the dog game. I feel like it's I feel like there's a lot more people willing to meet up and kind of go back and forth and dialogue and discuss different ideas and theories and demonstrate different approaches and applications. As before, I don't think it was like that. I think it was, you know, oh, you want to link up? Like, it's about to go down, you know, like, it wasn't seen as, yeah, we'll figure this out training wise. So
For a lot of young handlers that are watching, who would you say is very influential on social media that you really pay attention when they post, because it's more about teaching than just showing?
Man, I'm really not on the socials that much, honestly.
Okay.
So I apologize, but so I think, I guess on Instagram, I'll say, what is it, For the Love of Dog training. She works with Mike Ritlin. Gosh, I'm having a blank. Can't think of her name. But I love her page. I think she has like, I know her dog's name. Gosh, that's so bad. Her dog's name is like Chadwick. And then on on Facebook, that Sarah Bruesque chick, I mean, everything she does is very humble. Again, she's very diverse. I don't find, I think there's plenty of people that are really, really good at one thing. But I tend not to pay too much attention to those people because, in my opinion, I like to see people be diverse because that shows that they're more likely to be open and impressionable when problem solving, when working with something that's maybe out of their norm, as opposed to one person who gets really good at one thing. They generally are limiting themselves to not just that one aspect or that one breed or whatever, but they kind of get into this cadence of like, this is what I do and I don't branch out of it. So I find a great deal of value in versatility. But Sarah Bruesque, for sure. I love the Misfit guys. I think they're all really, really good. I think overall they're pretty humble. They're very diverse in the dogs that they're able to work with. I've stayed steady watching them grow over the past 5 years or so, maybe longer. Yep. I can't tell you specifically. Another one on Instagram, and I'm not gonna lie, I gave her a lot of shit in the beginning. Was Mary Webb with Caesar. She's got a big, huge account, and I was like, don't look the part, be the part. And it's been a pleasure watching her grow. She's gonna hate me for this, but she still gets caught up in some of the normal stuff of the social drama and stuff like that, which I think, again, it's very easy for a lot of people to do because of the nature of our industry, and because she means well and wants to be involved with others. However, I think overall she's really grasped and really started prioritizing the important aspects of training. And like I said, it's been a joy to watch her grow and her to share her experiences because she does have such a huge following. I think it's really important for those that have that to be utilizing it for something beneficial for the industry. And I think now she's beginning to really do that.
Nice. You just reminded me of Micah when you're like, I know the dog's name, but not the person.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, we're going to go work our police dogs on Thursday. She's like, who? And I'll say the officer's name. She's like, no, the dog's name.
Yeah, that's me and Jesse. I don't know. That's funny. And even her, Micah, like, I've enjoyed watching her grow. Like, I initially, I was like, she's just going to be taking pictures. But, like, I've really enjoyed watching her do her thing. And then, like, you posted that sexy, powerful photo of her from her photo shoot. And, like, I really admire a woman that's going to go out there and just, really do their thing and really invest their all. Like, I think that's super cool. When I met her, at the battle, I think, we got to talk a little bit. I mean, she was real cool. And it's just been exciting to see because I don't see her, I don't know her that well, honestly, but I don't see her involved in drama. I see her really, getting down and dirty with the dogs. And like I said, I got to respect that. So kudos to her. Hopefully we all get to get together and decoy soon.
No, yeah, I know she'd love it. I know, she's one of those that looks up to you and is inspired by you. And that's why I was truly honored to have you back on because there's so many of us that just love you and appreciate what you do for the community. So real quick, I wanted this interview to be about you and not Minion. Obviously, I couldn't find my shirt I was going to wear this morning. Micah ordered us some, and I couldn't find it. I was going to wear it, but
no worries. You've been hot.
It's freaking hot. It's 75 pounds. Real quick, talk to us about just the experience and how can people continue to support by ordering the shirts and doing all that.
So there is a link online where you can get all your Team Minion gear. It's I'll have to post it, but it's like Team Minion Shop dot something. I'm terrible. I'm sorry. I don't know it off the top of my head. But yeah, you guys can show support there. Thank you for those who supported Team Minion and continue to do so. He is still in recovery from his paralysis. He is slowly but surely, coming back around full circle. But yeah, just follow our page, either here or on Facebook. We tend to get, a whole lot of day-to-day feedback there, where everybody can see kind of what's happening day-to-day with all the dogs, and that's where they're likely to see Minion the most. So all of his fans can check him out there. And that's about it.
What was tougher, the actual competition or all the media press conferences after that or leading up to it?
Man, the competition for us was just like another day having fun training. It was a ball. The press surrounding it was definitely challenging. I like to tell everybody my dog has like no more obedience now, because we would, everywhere we would go, people would like, baby! And he would just leave me, and you can't like correct him at every moment that somebody does that, because then you have to answer as to why and yada yada, you know what I mean? And so I imagine how difficult it is for day-to-day people who have really cute service dogs who really need them to like tone out the public, because when we went to New York, Minion and I probably met like 300 to 500 people. Like, it was a lot of people. And like I said, like it just got really, really tough for me and him about what was expected around those circumstances, because I mean, he is cute. I can't blame people for wanting to, pet him and love on him. And he would just like, I'd tell him sit, and they'd call him, and he'd just flop over and just get belly rubs. So that was challenging as a dog trainer. So now he's like definitely more pet life than anything.
I visualize him with that video that went around social media, like, Minion, come. He looks at you, the glasses come in, the cig, and he's like, as he's running over to get his belly rubbed, like, yeah.
Yeah, he's hilarious. He knows.
Awesome.
He definitely knows like when there's an audience or people who want to give him attention, and he definitely gets very aroused and squeaky, and he's like, ah, and just wants to leave me, and I'm like, okay.
That's funny.
So, yeah.
So, real quick, where can people follow you again?
At Patriot _K9 on my Instagram, or we have our Facebook page, Patriot K9 Training and Services LLC. You'll see us. I'm trying to think. I don't have a logo anywhere, but yeah, you'll see us. And we mostly just have those two pages. We do have our personal accounts, but I really don't. I'm not super active on my social media, and we are beginning to launch a website. So once I have that, that'll be posted to both our Facebook and Instagram pages.
Perfect. Well, this video will be archived. I've learned how to YouTube them, so it'll be up forever. I'll send you a link so that you can share it and get it out to everybody. If you guys are watching, thank you for tuning in. Amanda, thank you so much for joining us.
Appreciate you having me.
Any last words for those young handlers or old handlers that are watching us?
Embrace the journey. Don't get so focused on the destination.
Ooh, so deep. So deep. So, hey, thanks for driving out to get some service and joining us on this Saturday morning. We appreciate you, and we'll see you soon.
All right, man. You take care.
Bye-bye.